Hey everyone, welcome to Marketing for Designers podcast. I'm your host, Masha Coyne, a messaging strategist and a copywriter for the interior design industry. I've been marketing for over 2 decades, working for some of the biggest global firms. Today, I write website copy for designers like you using my signature voice of customer framework. This podcast is a bit of a passion project for me. If you're a designer looking to up your marketing game, elevate your online presence, and attract premium clients, you are in the right place. I am so happy that you're here. This podcast is all about sharing marketing stuff that actually works. I'm talking with professionals who know the ins and outs of marketing, from SEO experts to website designers, PR pros, branding specialists, and many, many more. But here's the really exciting part. I've also persuaded some incredibly successful interior designers to open up about their marketing journeys. It's like we're sneaking a peek under the hood of their businesses. They'll be talking about their marketing strategies and tactics that worked, the bullets they dodged, and even the missteps they made along the way. So you don't have to. It's real and it's packed with juicy lessons you won't find anywhere else. And of course, there will be episodes with just you and I, where I'll break down the secrets of killer website copy and messaging, giving you all the tools you need to attract your dream clients. So settle in and let's get into it. Here's to elevating the marketing of your interior design brand. We're talking about niching down today. And as a copywriter for interior designers, I wholeheartedly believe in niching down. Hence, I am the copywriter for interior designers. I haven't always believed in niching down. In the beginning, I started writing for different industries, for different service providers, and then I found interior design. And I knew right away that I wanted to specialize in this one thing. I want to be known for this one thing, and niching down was the best decision that I've made. So that's what I did. So today's conversation is about niching down. And I feel like I have the perfect guest for that because she's got an ultra specific niche. So I'm excited to ask her all kinds of questions about her niche. And I'm excited for you to listen to this conversation. So my guest today is Anika Schachtler. She is the founder and principal designer at Anika Schachtler Design, a design firm specializing in the renovation and restoration of charming farmhouses and cottages from the 1800s and 1900s. How specific is that? This is so cool. Anika, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. It's so funny that you say it's ultra specific, but there's so many homes in the 1800s and 1900s. So there's still a lot of opportunity in a very particular niche.
Oh, I'm sure. And actually, you bring up a really good point because sometimes when I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, it's so specific, interior design," but I'm like, but there's so many various things that you can still. So I have a double niche. I not only specialize in interior design writing, but I also specialize in website copy. And I'm sure it goes the same for you, that there is this one specific lane that you picked. So I'm excited to hear. So why don't we get started and you tell us about your niche? What's it all about? Maybe how did you find it?
Right. So like you said, I do focus on farmhouses and cottages, designing and bringing them back to life from the 1800s and the 1900s. And I would say that it really started when I was younger because I was always drawn to farmhouses and all of the stories they seemed to hold. And then years later, I went to school for interior design. I started then working for a company in Montreal. And at the same time, I was taking on clients slowly on my own. And then sort of quickly, I phased out of working for a company and full-time in my business when I was just 21 years old. And so things were going well. And mostly my clients were coming from referral, which was really, really great. So it was going steady. And then my partner and I found our dream property. It was a 16-acre piece of land with a barn, pastures for my horses, and this 1830s farmhouse, which was in rough shape, but it had good bones. So that's really where it sort of hit me that I saw that these homes really shape us, and there's really a way for us to honor them. And it just takes a lot of planning, designing, and consideration. I think that we can see that homes are really built differently now versus 100 and 200 years ago. And I really saw how there's so much pride and craftsmanship in these homes, and they were really built to last. So I'm on a mission to save them and to bring them back to life and really to make the most out of them so that people living in them can enjoy them for the way we live today, but also so that they can still stay true to the home's heritage.
I love it. And I love that it all started out of passion for you. I'm kind of curious, like, first of all, like I said, it is very specific and it's clearly that you're passionate about it. And that's how it all started for you. But I'm wondering, what was the pivotal moment for you? Like, did you already know in school when you went to school for design that, hey, I have this thing that I really care about, that I really love. I love these old homes from early childhood, and I feel like I can make this my business? Or did you go to school and kind of got your schooling in place and then it's like, oh, okay, so you need a niche. How did that happen for you?
Well, school really opened up all of the possibilities,
Yeah.
and that's where you can go in so many directions. And, like it's hard to get clear on what your thing is, but I always had that inside of me. And I went to school and I sort of got into different styles, but I came back to really what is going to be like a sustainable foundation for me to grow my business from. And it really came from within. Like, I really had to ask myself, what do I love and what am I passionate about? Because that's what your niche should be about as a
Hmm.
whole. It's not just how can I make money or who wants to hire a designer. It has to be bigger than that and deeper than that if you really want to create a sustainable business.
That's great. And I love that you started with that because I feel like that's the piece, the passion and the interest in this one thing makes it more sustainable over time. Like you're not going to get bored of it. But I'm curious, you know how some business coaches and experts would say, but there has to be demand for it. Did you figure it out along the way that yes, there is demand in the local area where I live? Or was that, here's the starting point, I'll figure out the rest?
Yeah, I sort of went with here's a starting point and I'll figure out the rest.
Okay.
I realized that some people like to first develop like the plan and figure out their
Yeah.
audience and where they're located, but really these types of homes, it's based on an area. So let's say I was at downtown Montreal. I don't think I'm going to be working on this particular type of home, but based on the area that I'm serving, it fits with that. So that's where I put both of those pieces together.
Very interesting. If you could give advice to someone kind of at the crossroads, they're not really sure, whether they want to have a niche because let's face it, a lot of designers are actually scared to pick a niche because they're going to think they're turning away business. I know I was thinking that a lot of people that were surrounding me when I was deciding that, okay, I'm going to only write for interior designers. And I can remember my husband saying, no, don't do that. You're going to be turning away all of these other clients. Like, what advice would you give to others who are facing kind of similar situations? Like, what steps would you take to figure out what's a good niche to work in?
It's true that you will be turning away people, but that's not a bad thing because the right people are going to be really attracted to what you're doing. So it's going to make the process of onboarding them so much easier. Like it's very clear what you do and what they want. There's a connection. And
Hmm.
if you're worried, I guess, about niching down, you have to really think about what it is that you want and what you love to do because it's so easy to get burnt out and to get distracted and to lose touch of what like your whole purpose is. Like we get to choose what we want to do. So it's not about just picking anything just to make like money. It's really
Hmm.
about like enjoying your life.
I
So
love
that's what
that.
I would say.
I love that. I love that you were so intentional from the very beginning. So it's very impressive. So now I want to switch gears a little bit and actually talk about marketing. How do you market your business? What works for you?
There's definitely a few different things, and I've tried different things over the years. But what really started from the beginning was referrals. And I didn't really understand that this was marketing, but I think that's a good thing because it was just so natural and easy to connect with people, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, cabinet makers. They would be referring me to clients. And that's how I started to get more clients. So just
Mm-hmm.
starting off with people who you're going to work with and how they can help you and how you can help them. That's how you
Mm-hmm.
can really get started.
That's excellent. And I know referrals is not something, I'm glad you're looking at it as a marketing strategy because referral is marketing strategy. I feel like you can't always rely on referrals. So I'm curious whether you have a specific strategy in place, or does that happen organically where you work with cabinet makers on a specific project and then they see your good work and then recommend you to their other clients? Is that how it happens organically? Or do you have you always had like a specific plan, or maybe you develop some type of plan when you realize, okay, so that's working, they're recommending me to their other clients, to their other projects because they've seen the quality of the work that I produce, and here are the next steps that I can take in order to kind of replicate that going forward?
I don't do that. It's really organic, but that is a great idea. So maybe I could start to implement that as well. But no, it's very organic with the referrals, which is nice, which makes it really easy to do because sometimes, like you said, designers don't always love marketing. So when it can feel easy or quick or just simple, that's where we can get started and then build from there.
I like that. It's pretty simple, so I like that. But surely it's not your only marketing strategy. Is that it? Or do you do more?
No, no, I do more. And over the years, I've built more and more into like my process. At first, it did feel very overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
marketing and running the business, working in the business, on the business. So I just started off with a really simple website and an email newsletter. And then I had a Facebook account. And then just until last year, I only had Facebook, and then I introduced Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very new.
How's that
But
going?
it's going good. It's introducing like a newer, younger audience. Um, so it's great to incorporate that. And I just wanted to slowly introduce things and really make sure I can stay consistent with everything. So I also have a blog and the newsletter, which I really enjoy because I love writing. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
great place and platform for me to expand on my thoughts and educate potential clients. And so I really like to combine different things together, but not too much that it feels like I can't handle it or I can't stay consistent with everything.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually very happy to hear you say that you've eased into it, that you first introduced Facebook, that, well, you started with your website, that you did Facebook, then you added Instagram, and not everything all at the same time, because that can be overwhelming for anybody, especially in this day and age when you see, your competitors or other, people in your network are doing all kinds of crazy things and new things and, hopping on trends. And you're like, oh my God, like I can't possibly do it all. So that's the easiest way to do it. But I'm wondering, when we talk about so it sounds like most of your clients still do come from referral partners. What about, how do you connect aside from face-to-face meeting? Do you know anything about where are these referral partners hanging out? Like, how else can you get in touch with them? Maybe they are on some social media channels, or is it really just you face to face and that what works?
The face to face is really an interesting approach because there's like none of that anymore. Everything is by email, like we're sending messages. It's not even us sometimes, it's like AI stepping in. So it's like that's something that we can't take away. And it's really memorable and impactful to be in person. But you have to find the people first to get in front of them. So you just need to figure out where they are and how you can find them. And then either give them a call. They like to have calls trades. They don't like to email, so don't email them. They're working with their hands. They're not going to sit there on the computer and they're like in their 40s, 50s, 60s. So it's just not their thing.
I can
That's my
attest to that.
opinion.
My husband is a general contractor. You do not text him. You do not email him. You get on the phone with him. I sometimes would like
Exactly.
text him like a big ass text, and he's like, why? Just what? Just pick up the phone.
Phone,
Just
yeah.
call me. I am busy. I'm on a project. So I definitely can attest to that.
Yeah. And honestly, as long as you understand that and you're mindful of that, they're going to want to connect with you. They want to work with you. So it's a great opportunity for you to like get in there, meet them, and get started on some projects.
What do you think catches their eye? Like when they are, because they're also looking for good designers, right? Because they also have a challenge. They may have projects. Maybe they're a cabinet maker and, maybe they're dealing directly with clients, but maybe they want to deal with designers. What do you think works for them? What can catch their eye? Like how can designers get their attention?
Well, I think that in person it's a lot easier because like you have a personality, you're a human, so you can connect with them just by being yourself and like getting connected on a personal level as well. So like you know that you're going to have a good working relationship with them and you can just explain very clearly what you do and what type of projects you work on and what type of projects you're interested in so that they have that in their mind when clients are maybe coming to them. So it's very clear they're going to say, "Okay, we can refer you to Anika." Like
Yeah.
it's that
It,
straightforward.
it's true. And I feel like clarity is key here. And I think you said something very important. Like they have to know what it is that you're interested in. They have to know what your process is like, how you tend to work, just so in their minds, they're like, oh, okay, Anika is all about, charming farmhouses that are, what are they, 1800s. So they know for future not to, let's say, recommend like a new build or I don't know, a bathroom reno or something like that. That's so out of, not in within your area of expertise, not expertise, but like your interest, something that you want to focus on, right?
Exactly. And the thing is also like they might change their process or their business, and maybe you're changing your niche and adapting, but you can change together and you can always just let them know, like, hey, this is kind of what we're focusing on now. This is like the main projects we're going to be working on. So it's not like you have to say it once and then that's it. Like you're in
Sure.
a constant relationship with them where it's growing and everyone's evolving.
Absolutely. I like that. I like that. So we talked about marketing. So we talked about some of the things that you're doing. I just want to say that I recommend whoever is listening to this podcast to actually go and check out Anika's website because I feel like your website is so well written. It really, like when I jumped on the call with you today, I was like, okay, yeah, that's her. There's consistency and it's refreshing because, sometimes on the website, people are all like buttoned up and like so professional and like there's this different tone and then you get on the phone or on Zoom with them and there's like this whole different person. I'm like, well, that's unexpected. But with you, first of all, I think your personality shines through on the website. And I think it's so important. Like coming from a copywriter, this is what we aim to do. So I'm just curious, how did you, how did you determine what to do, what direction to take on your website? Like, how are you going to present this brand, this young brand for yourself?
Thank you so much. That means a lot to hear you say that about my website. I do love writing and like just making it the best possible experience for people to come on and get some different information and check out like different pages and feel comfortable and actually understand what I'm writing because sometimes designers will use like specific terms. And I did that at the beginning because I wanted to be like, I'm 21 and I'm professional, so I'm going to speak in a certain way. But then I realized, no, like no one understands this. My clients don't understand what elevation drawings are or different things like that. So it's like you have to understand who's reading your stuff and how you want to portray yourself and what you want people to think of you and say about you because that's the thing too. If you're going to be a certain way on, let's say, your Instagram reels and story, and then in person, you're completely different, well, there's a mismatch. And then that's where people won't trust you. So I figured I'm just going to be myself. And the way I look and sound and write on my website is how I am in person.
Best strategy ever. And I almost cried when you said that not everybody understands what elevation drawings are, because this is the thing that I keep telling my clients when we're going. I think this is the topic of conversation when we get to their services or their process page, and they have this amazing, well thought out process, and they want to talk about all these things, but we also do this and we also do this, and technical drawings and things like that. Unless your audience, so it all starts with the audience, unless your audience is able to understand these things, because sometimes there is savvy audience that are like, I don't know, like young millennials, and they're all in the know with these things, and they've dealt with general contractors and designers in the past, so they will know what you're talking about. But it's so much simpler and so much more effective to just speak their language and just kind of like, here's me, here's how I work, here's everything that you need to know about what's it like to work with me. So I absolutely love it. It's so refreshing to see that.
That's good. Yeah, it's true. Like we really just need to pay attention to that. And like who are we impressing if we're not impressing them? We're just like confusing them, or maybe even worse, making them feel overwhelmed. So just keep them in
Mm-hmm.
mind, and then it's going to create a really good connection from the very beginning once they land on your website.
Sounds great. Okay, so maybe just one or two more questions, but I'm wondering if there are any marketing approaches that you kind of phased out. So you've tried certain things. You mentioned in the beginning that at first when you sat down to write your website copy, you were all this like professional tone and you're this, you're that. You kind of wanted to almost put on this persona, which a lot of us do when we start our own businesses, but that did not work. Anything else in marketing that you've tried and you realize, doesn't really work for my brand or for my audience?
I would say I didn't really phase anything out, like any channels or anything. Instead, I've added as I went. And really, what I've stopped doing is just pretending to be this person or this style that I'm not, because it's exhausting to not be yourself. So I feel like I'm more true to who I am, and like my true personality and how I can help people, and just making it simple and really easy for people to reach out and connect with me. It's really interesting because I was at a coffee shop, and this person came up to me and she's like, "You're Anika, the interior designer?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, I follow you on Facebook. I really enjoy like what you're sharing." And it's really it's really interesting when things like that happen in person. It's really great that people are so comfortable just walking up to you in the middle of nowhere.
I know, because you are not you are being yourself. You're being real and authentic, and that makes you approachable. I wish more people understood that when you're just not putting on any front on your social or in your website copy, and you're kind of just, that's me. It's so easy for people because you have to understand the mindset of your audience. Some people are like, ooh, that designer might not be for me. And I feel like that's the worst thing. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not your kind of client, but you want the opposite. You want for people to feel, yes, I feel like I already know you. I feel like I'm so comfortable, or I will be comfortable working with you. So you kind of appear a lot more approachable in front of your ideal audience. So that's
Yes,
awesome. Yeah,
definitely.
that's great. How, so you've defined your niche. I'm wondering, how has defining your niche impacted your approach to design or to client relationships? What has it changed for you?
I would say it's really helped me get clear on like my values and really what's important to me in projects, in helping clients and working with them. It really has helped me stay focused. If you've ever been on Instagram, you can know how your both focus can go out of the water quickly. So it's really good to get focused and stay within your niche when you find it and when you feel good about it, because you can really make things easier with your clients. The process, working with them and building like a strong connection with them and understanding them, making them feel at ease from the very beginning. So I definitely find that it's helped me having like a very particular niche. Um, what else would I say? Also, because of the style of homes that I'm working on, that's also helped me get clear on different furniture and materials that I'm using. So it's really helped me narrow down and focus.
Which is so nice. Like, I'm all for making things easier in our business, whether it's marketing or how you run your business. I want to ask you one more thing about, so you mentioned your Instagram, and there's a lot of things that you can do there because there's these trends and algorithm and, the reels and all the things. I know you just started, but I feel like you're really good at it. I wonder, how do you come up with content? How do you come up with ideas on what to post on Instagram?
I feel like I don't struggle with content. It's almost the opposite, where it's like I have too many ideas and I'm like, okay, where am I gonna, which direction am I gonna go in? And there's so many different things that we can do. So I like to keep like a notebook of different things that come up in my mind. I find that when we're out of our business doing other things, that's when ideas come, and that's where we can get creative again, because we could all work 24/7. There's always something to do in our business, but when we take time off and to refresh our minds, that's when ideas come, and that's when I feel like the best ideas come to me, and that's where it all comes together.
I love that. So it sounds like it's a very organic process rather than, here are my 5 pillars of content that I'm sticking to. It sounds like you don't follow that kind of approach. It's just recording, like keeping an archive of ideas or a bank of ideas and just posting as you come up with new ones.
Yes, definitely. And also, once you see the ideas listed out, some of them you're going to say, okay, this is maybe not my best idea. But once you see it, you can eliminate ones that, good for you for thinking of them, but it's not really an approach you want to take. And I do take time, like I fit time every single Monday morning. I love to just work on writing, easing into the week, and just brainstorming all of my blog posts, newsletters, my captions, all of that. I really like to focus my time Monday morning, not Friday afternoon when I'm like tired and thinking about other things, but Monday morning.
That's such a good idea. That's what we should be doing it on Monday morning. I actually block Monday free off client meetings because that allows me, and hopefully, not always happens, but hopefully away from clients and just kind of working on my own marketing. And, because this is when we're supposed to do it, when we're the most alert and motivated as like, okay, new week, here we go. So I
Yeah,
love that.
definitely. And
That's
also
great.
I think that sometimes we think things are just going to happen, like an Instagram reel is just going to be put together, but who's doing that? And like when is it actually happening? I sort of made that mistake where I thought like all of this was just going to happen while I was working on my business. I also have a part-time employee, but I like to take care of all the marketing myself because I really want it to be my own voice and really from where I'm at. But the thing is, like, we have to make time to get all of these things done and make them happen. So we can't just like wish and hope and imagine that they're going to happen.
I agree with you. This, it's not going to happen on its own. And I'm so happy that you're so intentional with it. You have a day or a few hours on a Monday morning blocked off for this. You're very intentional. So it's very, very impressive. Okay, Anika, one more question. And it's kind of like not on topic, but I'm wondering if there is any practice or habit that you've adapted over time that has been game changing for your life or for your business. Doesn't have to be business related. It could be something personal.
I think what I would say is really taking time for yourself and for something you love outside of work. So for me, it's my horses, it's riding my horses and caring for them. So when I don't do this, I feel out of control. I feel like my business is taking over my life, and I honestly don't feel creative. I think that we can spend so much time working. We can all work our lives away, but there's more to life than just work, and we really have to be mindful of like what we're doing and how we're spending our time. And I think that if we can incorporate something every single week in our life that doesn't involve work, we're going to feel so much more refreshed and creative and ready to work when that time comes.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anika, where can people find you if they want to connect with you or just follow you along on your journey?
Yeah, of course. Well, like you mentioned, my website. So it's Anika Schachtler Design, and social media. There's Instagram and Facebook, Anika Schachtler Design.
Amazing. I'll make sure to share all of this in the show notes. Anika, thank you so much for your time today and for all the insights that you've shared.
It was great chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Marketing for Designers. This is Masha Cohen signing off. See you next week.